Hello, welcome everybody to a little bit delayed weekend edition. A little bit delayed as we both attempted to get gameplay footage ready for today, but unfortunately, it crashed out a bit. So gameplay is segmented instead of all compiled into one. So I'll probably be doing a little bit of fiddling around in the background here, but never mind. We are here. It is eventually here. It's eventually podcast time. So awesome to see everybody in chat already. Studios, Phantosir, Stuffed Sean, Andrew Cullinane. How's everybody doing?
What's up, chat? How's it going?
And of course, joined with my co-host, the General C. How are you doing today, brother?
It's good to be here again, man. Good to be here another week. Doing pretty good. Tired.
Yeah.
streamed on Friday, the Evil Dead game, because I got the code from the influencer manager um, over there. Played a bit of Hunt Showdown yesterday on stream because Resident Evil 0 was kicking my ass. So I have submitted defeat on that, and I'm going to start it again off stream, catch up to where I am on stream. But I'm going to do that on easy because I'm a chump. So yeah, I'd rather have a good time and not a struggle. And it's been a bit of a struggle with that game. Like both the characters are on danger, and as soon as I get attacked, that's it, I'm dead. So it's been stuck like that for me for like the past 2 streams. So I called it. I accepted my defeat, and I'm going to start it on easy.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So what is it? What sections you enjoy playing the most then?
What with Evil Dead?
Yeah.
As a demon.
Yeah.
Is my favorite. Yeah. It's a bit hard to find a game where people are not a-holes.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people out there that hog the loot. So yeah, I've been playing a lot as a demon. That's the gameplay I recorded today. An entire match of a demon gameplay. So it's about 30 minutes of footage there. I've actually uploaded that to my channel. So if anyone wants to check that out and what it's like to play as a demon in Evil Dead, should be in 4K, hopefully within the next hour or two, because I upscaled it to 4K, so it should look chef's kiss.
Yeah, but not right now. Right now, it's not.
Yeah, not right now. It's just HD right now. But yeah. I'm sure you'll bring a bit about that up as we talk a bit more about it later if we do.
Yes, yeah, definitely will. We'll be giving. We'll get your full impressions on that. Full impressions.
Well, sort of full impressions. I've not had a major chance to play as the survivors yet, because it's just so hard. Like, getting the right team. I should be playing it with. I did play one game with Berserker this earlier. You've got him on your friends list.
Yeah.
I've got him on my friends list. Managed to get one game with him, but I've not had a full team yet with people on my friends list. So hopefully tonight I should be jumping on with a few other players that are on my friends list.
Nice.
Hopefully get a full game and get my impressions on what it's like playing as a survivor with a competent team that doesn't want to run off and do their own thing.
Awesome stuff. What else have you been up to then?
Busy doing house stuff, like redecorating and stuff like that. When I have been gaming, it's been Hunt Showdown mainly. Apart from my stream for Resident Evil 0, which I've given up on for now.
Yeah.
Until next stream, when I hopefully catch up to being where I am at the point I am in the game now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Resident Evil 0 is no joke. It's tough. I didn't remember it being that tough.
Oh yeah, they've never been easy. Depends. What did you start on a particular?
Just normal. It's just kicking my ass. I don't know if it's me getting older or or what. I'm not good at it. So yeah, I just submitted, and I'm gonna go and start it on easy and catch up to where I am. I'd rather enjoy the time I'm having with the game. At the moment, the last 2 streams have been a bit miserable with me getting frustrated at the game.
Well, it happens.
Yeah.
But hey ho. Welcome to RSJ fan as well. He said, "I love the accents." Thank you. It's definitely a mix. We've got one Essex boy down here, and then Geordie boy here.
Not proud of it, I'll tell you that.
But yeah, it's I've just been playing a mishmash of games over recent days. The other day, to be fair, on Friday after work, I ended up just going to sleep. I was just that wiped. I just went to bed. I didn't even play anything. I've been playing a lot more Flight Sim recently. I've been playing Eiyuden Chronicles Rising, which has just come out into Game Pass and on all of the platforms as well. Started off very slow, but it's starting to get a bit better. I do have some gameplay of that I'm going to put on in a little bit.
I haven't played that yet myself. Need to install it.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
It's definitely different. It's not what I expected, but it's getting better, and that's all that matters. Like, it starts off slow. The start off point might put a lot of people off, but after that, it certainly gets better, which is good. It's good news. It starts to pick up a bit. It starts to feel like you're actually getting somewhere with the game.
It's a prequel to the full game that comes out next year, right?
Yeah, it's a different type of game as well. So this one's like a platformy hack and slash game. Um, like side scrolling, whereas the one that comes out next year is a full like JRPG. So different entirely, which is good. A bit of difference. But yes, yeah. Other than that, I was on Sniper Elite 4 before as well. I was playing a bit of that.
New one's coming out soon, right?
Yeah. So I was just getting back into it, getting used to it again, and it's such a fun game just to run around on it. And it's got co-op, and I need to play co-op on that with somebody. That's fun.
I think the company that is linked to that Evil Dead game also is partnered with Rebellion, so I'm going to try and get a code for Sniper Elite 5. Try.
Yeah. I mean, if
no
not,
guarantees.
fear not, guys, because it's in Game Pass. So, Mr. Joanna Dark says Evil Dead Game of the Year 2022.
To be surprised, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I love the movies. I love the Ash vs Evil Dead TV show. It's got some issues, but I think they can be ironed out pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's rough around the edges, but nothing too bad. I'm really having fun with it when I'm playing as the demon.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I just love to mess with people. It's hilarious. You just get people wander off on their own, and I just go and torment them while they're on their own.
Definitely. I've seen. I was watching a little bit of your gameplay. I watched a bit of gameplay on Game Informer as well. They did one for survivors and one for demons. So I've watched them as well.
Yeah. Well, when we get to that section, I'll talk a bit about what else is in the game and all that. There's quite a lot of stuff in there. There's no like exact sort of story mode to it, but there are some sort of things there that I think the single player person will more appreciate.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I think what we'll do is we'll start off with Halo Episode 8 impressions and thoughts, and then we'll get into
Having experience.
then we'll get into some Evil Dead impressions, and then we'll get into the main topic. But yeah, first of all, Halo Episode 8, Revenge of the Quan. Thankfully not. Quan was no more in this episode. There was no Quan. There was a...
Hopefully there's no Quan going forward as well, because I've seen the trailer for next week's and it doesn't appear she's in there, but
it doesn't look like
she's
got, to be fair, it doesn't look like she's got any need to be in the next one either, judging by what we've seen in the trailer. But Episode 8.
Yep.
Let's get it out of the way of. Master Chief has sex.
He has the sex.
The sex. The one. One sex.
Something that Halo players don't get.
Nope. One sexes, and people were kicking off that he was having sex, he's asexual. Well, actually, if you read all the books, all the lore, he's attracted to several women throughout all of the books, including loves Cortana, which everybody knows from the start he has some connection with Cortana, who is, yes, an AI, but is drawn from an actual being who was no longer around. But that's aside, and people's lack of knowledge about Halo lore in the first place, who are kicking off at the fact that he's had intercourse with another being, even though he's human. I
think more than anything, it just felt out of place.
Felt a bit. Yeah, it was a little bit weird, but it wasn't
weird. And I did call this a couple of weeks back when they were like,
I bet you didn't.
They were on that vision.
I bet you didn't call how quickly it would fall apart, though.
I didn't expect it to fall apart that quick. But
it's definitely not a love story.
I mean, we both kind of called that this was going to happen. Yeah. So yeah, we expected it. But it's more the stuff with the Spartans that sort of got to me, like the way they sort of pit them against each other. Considering they all grew up with each other, you'd think there'd be more like questioning the fact that why are we going to capture the chief or what their attempt was.
Well, you see,
That's the sort of stuff
the
that.
story loophole that for me in that
Mm,
episode was the fact that they've known, like all of these guys, hey, Paul AFC, you've become a member again. Awesome to have you back. Member for 4 months, currently bathing the kids. Shout out to the midweek mix-up crew. Well, I hope that's quick and you can get back to relaxing. Enjoy, brother. But yeah, for all the previous several episodes, all of the Spartans have known that they no longer report to Halsey.
yeah,
So why did they all of a sudden take orders from Halsey when they know they no longer operate under
that
Halsey?
was weird. Like it felt like they were trying to shoehorn in conflict.
Yeah.
But we already knew that the Spartans were now like fully under the control of the UNSC because that's what happened. It's a whole plot line there where Halsey's pushed out.
Yeah, Halsey is literally, you've lost everything. Goodbye. You are no longer, like, Spartan Project is no longer under you. Spartans now report to, what's her face? Forgot her name now. Keys. Amanda Keys.
Miranda Cage, yeah.
You now report under her, under her authority. So what? Like, it made absolutely zero sense in the plot, and I think they've missed a trick there, or at least forgotten their own plot on that particular section. That
Yeah, there's a point that stuff Sean says here that there's a thing called the Protocol Z. That felt a bit execute Order 66 to me. Like, why did they have to try and Star Wars it?
Yeah,
they've got their Star Wars with Quan. Yeah. Why do we need it here?
Protocols. I mean, they could try and execute the order, but at the same time, if they're no longer under the authority of Halsey and now under Keys, that order would fall directly from Keys and not from Halsey. Like, Halsey has no authority anymore, so it felt like a bit shoehorned in. Like you mentioned there, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, why, how all of a sudden are they going to go, yeah, I'll start listening to Halsey again, but you wouldn't?
It just felt odd pitting the Spartans against each other like that, and they'd all grown up with each other. It was just from the other two Spartans, Vanek and Riz is her name.
Yeah,
like they don't question those orders at all. It's like, oh, we're just going to go through with fighting the chief.
Yeah,
like damn well near kill him.
Yeah,
it just felt out of place and not what it was sort of hinting towards throughout the entire of the show so far.
Yeah,
because they've always sort of had the Chiefs back throughout everything that's gone on, and now all of a sudden it's like snap of their fingers. Oh, we're going to do exactly what you say.
Yeah, exactly. But what we did get out of it was a cool Spartan on Spartan fight scene.
Oh, it was cool fight scene, without a doubt. But it just felt out of place again. Like the reasons for them to kick Chief's ass, basically. He's not even in his armor, so it was like, okay, you're punching him with pretty much full force, and he's not got his armor on, and they're fully kitted up. Yeah, it's a weird situation with that episode, but it was some cool stuff in it, without a doubt. It's just that ongoing thing they've had with the story of the show. It's like ups and downs constantly.
Yeah. And one thing I will say is, of course,
hopefully it's something they can resolve in the next season.
Oh, definitely can. I think it's getting the grips with it as well. One thing I think that, to me, and this is a good part of the story, I would say, on this front, but to me, you can see that McKee's definitely going to really start to be evil going forward now, because she's like, that's it. Like, you wouldn't listen to us when I was trying to help. You listen to older things where I did murder an entire crew. He's automatically said, oh, I can't be trusted because of that. even if it was like months old tape recording that you've listened to there. Like, this is the stuff I'm telling you now. Master Chief's in trouble. He's getting attacked by 2 Spartans, and they're just like, yeah, we don't believe you. And then as soon as they
Yeah,
started
it's
taser, she was like,
weird.
"That's it. He's a done for here." grabs the artifact, and then boom, that's it.
I'm interested to see how they're gonna resolve this whole season with the next episode.
The next episode, for instance, looks absolutely insane.
It looks good. It looks like we're gonna get the Chief rematch with that the Brute,
Yeah,
who we are believing is
Atriox.
Atriox.
Yeah,
So it looks like there's gonna be some sort of rematch there.
and it's we're gonna get all the Spartans fighting. It's gonna be a showdown of all showdowns for the season finale. Hopefully, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna obviously end on a cliffhanger because, of course, season finales do. So we're gonna get some
Well, they ended the previous episode on a cliffhanger with sort of Chief on the floor and one of the Spartans aiming the gun at him.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well,
it's going to be interesting
because
how
then the
that.
artifact went off and then all the Spartans were on the floor.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? I forgot about that.
Yeah. Because the other Spartan, the other girl,
Mm.
I've forgotten what her name is.
Riz.
Yeah. She couldn't shoot him. She was trying.
Mm.
And he was like, "It's Chief. Like, why would you shoot us?" And she's like, struggling to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it felt so out of place. Like
What
considering like
was good
in
to
the
see, though, is
beginning of
that
the season.
Kai's starting to get, like, even with her emotional chip out, she's starting to get her combat readiness back, which is good to see.
Yeah, I like to see that. I just think they should focus more on her than. I know Quan wasn't in this episode, but going forward, they should focus on Kai as a Spartan.
Yeah, all 4 of them
On
as
her own,
Spartans have
her
the
own
Spartan
story.
side stories.
Yeah. They could have a side story for each individual Spartan. Why do we need one?
Yeah. Definitely. You definitely, if you haven't already started watching, for everybody in chat, if you haven't already started watching the Halo show, definitely start watching it. It's well worth jumping into. Definitely, it's separate
It's
from the
got
games, separate
potential.
storylines, separate lore. It is its own thing, but you'll certainly enjoy it.
Yeah, I would recommend people watch it. I definitely think it's got potential going forward. Like every show has their teething issues. Fortunately, this has had more teething issues than most shows.
Yeah,
But I can see the potential there.
definitely. But yes, episode 9 looks like it'll be the finale we wanted. Big fights against brutes and elites and everything in between, and jumping from pelicans. I was going to say planes there, but there is no planes. Jumping from pelicans. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be war. It's exactly what we want to see.
Now that we've got most of the episodes out of the way and there's one left, I feel like we're not going to officially see them land or step foot on Halo until next season.
9 looked like Halo to me.
I don't know. I think that was the planet that McKee mentioned, wasn't it? The Sang-Healy planet that they.
Do you think they're going to go
mentioned
there first before Halo?
I think so. To attempt to get the artifacts back.
Possibly.
And then maybe they get the artifacts back, and now because they know where Reach is, then the next season will be starting with, I guess, the fall of Reach.
Yeah. That's fair. Didn't Reach fall in this episode?
No, that was a different planet because they're on Reach, aren't they? And she sets the artifact off, which I assume after that happens, the Covenant are going to know where she is, and she's going to escape, get picked up. They're going to go away, and then I'm assuming the Spartans are going to trail them. I guess they've got some sort of
Tracking.
I'd assume, tracking situation going on there where they sort of figure out where everything is, where those Sang-Healy and the rest of the Covenant are.
Yeah.
on the planet that McKee mentions. I can't remember the name of the planet,
Uh,
but yeah, I'm assuming that that'll probably end with them retrieving both the artifacts, bringing it back to Reach, and then the next season will be about the fall of Reach, and then finding Halo.
awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. A little bit sad that it's the end of it and we won't have Halo to speak about on the weekend again.
It feels like it's gone really quick.
Doesn't it? 9 episodes. I'm gonna be after when it's all said and done. I'm gonna watch them all back to back in one day and see what I think
Apart from the
about
Quan episode, I'm gonna skip that one.
it.
There's only 8 episodes to me. There's 8 episodes.
8 episodes. 8 episodes this season. Yeah.
The Quan episode could have been resolved in like a 5-minute web episode on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, bless her. Never mind. But moving on to Evil Dead.
Yes.
Jen, you got a chance to play this a little bit earlier, smidge earlier. But you've had a chance to try it out, at least try both sides out, play the game a little bit more. I have not. So tell the people what you've played so far, how you experienced the game, what your thoughts about the game are so far, some of the mechanics.
I'll sort of explain what the game is. It's an online 4 versus 1 sort of asymmetrical PvP game. There is offline modes as well, so you can play if you're not feeling like playing as a team. You can do an AI versus an AI demon. There's also missions in it. It's not like a full single player experience. They're like individual things. You load up a mission, you complete a mission, you unlock something for completing it. What I've primarily played is like the demon mode, and like you're flying around as like this ghost type thing, building up your your evil powers over the course of the game. You can plant traps in locations that sort of tell you where they can be planted and stuff like that. It's not like you're free to plant them anywhere you want, specific locations. Basically, you've got to terrify the survivors and then build up your sort of threat level.
Yeah.
And as you build up your threat level, you unlock points, and you put those points into like a bunch of different traits. There's like possessions where you can hold your possessions on a enemy player for longer. So basically, you drop the enemy player's fear level down to like max, and you can possess them, take control of them, and do damage with their character to their teammates.
Right.
But the same thing applies, because if they're shooting at their teammate who I'm possessing, they take damage as well. So it's all about damaging each of the players to the point where they go down, die, and then your like main objectives are to stop the players from finding map pieces, which is pretty hard to do because you've got no indication yourself where those map pieces are. I guess it would be overpowered if they did it in a way where you knew where everything was, as well as them finding it. But as they find the pages, then they unlock like the pieces of the map. I mean, not pages. They unlock the location of parts of the pages of the Book of the Dead and a dagger. Yeah, the Necronomicon. Once that's happened and they've got if they get the book and the dagger, it then goes on to them trying to kill the Dark Ones, which are basically like these demonic entities that are flying around, sort of like god type things. And your like whole goal is just to stop them from killing those. And if they do kill those, it then becomes about you destroying the Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
So that they can't use it to banish the demons from the human realm. But I love playing as demons because, like, the traps you can set, you can possess your enemies, you can possess like your minions. You've got basic minions, elite minions, and there's like a whole unlock chain of leveling up and making your minions more powerful. Your boss demon, which can press like both triggers at a point when you unlock the boss and bring yourself into the game.
Yeah.
And then you're slightly more powerful, and as you level up, you make all your minions and yourself more powerful. But they, as you're doing that, obviously their enemies are doing the same thing. So the survivors will build up their level as well. So yeah, can be fun tormenting people as a demon, like just stalking them. You can, if they're in a car, you can possess the car
Right.
and just drive off and leave the car in the middle of nowhere, or hit them with the car if you choose to. It's a lot of fun. Playing as the survivor, though, I have a few issues with, because I find that it's really hard to locate the map pieces. It gives you, it narrows down like an idea of where the map is. It'll say, look for the map piece in this location. But it's kind of hard to figure out where the map piece is as you get closer to it. There's no indication. I don't know if that's a bug or whatnot, but whenever I've been playing as a survivor, I've always found it hard to locate the map pieces.
Yeah.
And I've not played as a survivor much, like 3 games maybe. One of them games was cut short because people quit. So yeah, I need a few more games before I judge the survivor side. I did have a big issue yesterday playing as a demon, where I was like halfway through the game, and I went to possess someone, and all my abilities just disappeared off the screen. I couldn't use anything. So that was quite game-breaking and frustrating, flying around for 10 minutes, not being able to do anything, and basically I just had to accept defeat.
Accept defeat and move on.
Yeah. I wanted to stay in the game, though, because I wanted to get my experience points. So, yeah. Missions are more like a single-player task thing. I've only played the one as Ash, and your objective is to dig up a severed head, and destroy it. And that kicked my ass 3 times in a row, and I gave up. And so I couldn't do it. So they're pretty hard. There's no difficulty options for the missions, so it can be pretty tough, especially when there's like loads of demons and there's like more powerful demons and bigger demons.
Yeah,
it's quite a struggle when you're just on your own with limited bullets and resources. It's like hard to narrow down where health items are as well.
Yeah,
in some aspects. Sometimes they're pretty easy to see, and sometimes they're just hard to see. And there needs to be more indications to where these items are when you pass them. And I don't know if that's something that happens as you level up your character, because I've not, again, played as the survivor enough to level up.
That's fair enough. Got a super chat here from BMG449. Thank you, sir. He says, "Good evening, all. Evil Dead is awesome. I've been playing it. Playing evil is best, and I'm currently undefeated as Puppeteer." Winky face.
Yep, that's where I stand on it. Playing as evil is the best, and I play as the Necromancer. So I can like summon loads of skeletons and all that. It's a blast as the evil, but I can't say the same for the survivors just yet because I've not experienced it.
See, everyone wants to be evil. Let's face it, everybody's got this little thing in the back of their mind that wants just to be evil, and if you've got the option to be evil, everyone takes it. Whether that's playing Fable and you end up being evil in Fable, or whether that's any other game that gives you the option of being the bad guy, you take it. Everyone takes it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun in Evil Dead just to torment people.
Be evil.
Because you get a lot of people that the aspect of the game is you're supposed to stick together, because as a group, when you're together, your fear level is harder to go up. So it's more of a struggle when they're all grouped up as 4. But most people separate. So then I just go and torment the one that's on their own until they're dead, and then I move on to the next victim. Yeah, it's like the quote from the movie, "One by one we will take you," and that's me. I'm going to go off and take you one by one, banish you from this realm. But yeah, but as you do that, as you kill people in the game, as the demons,
yeah,
the goal of the survivors is to claim that person's soul, and then they can go to an altar and bring that person back into the game. Nice. So all is not lost when you die in that game as a survivor. There is hope for you to come back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sweet.
my necromancer demon is currently level 24. Playing quite a bit of it today as I got the footage. People want to go see that on my channel. It'll be in 4K, hopefully within the next few hours, unless
Depending on what YouTube
YouTube
wants to do.
dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like a full, almost 30-minute match of me playing as a demon and winning as a demon.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did
really
have
enjoying it. Other than it being a slightly rough around the edges and having some bugs, I'm having a blast with the game.
Nice. Nice. And BMG just follows up saying, my puppeteer is currently level 19. So he's not far behind you.
Yeah, not far.
So I mean, early thoughts. If you were to give it, an early scoring out of 10, what your
If I
thoughts?
was doing an episode of Pass or Play on it, I'd give it a play. I'd give it a must play actually, because I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. And what would your
It's worth it.
feedback be to it so far then, for it to be better?
I'd like them to improve, like finding the items around the map, especially some of the map pieces, because I feel like narrowing those down
Yeah.
is a bit of a struggle. A lot of the times it's just luck that you come across it, or most of the time I've played with survivors. Everyone else has got the map pieces
Yeah.
because I've found it a bit of a struggle to see where they are. So if I need an eye test or something.
Yeah. A follow-on
But
question
yeah, it's
for that
mainly
actually from Joanna Dark. He says, how can they improve the game to make sure that it has legs?
more maps. There's 2 maps currently in the game. I believe that they are bringing a map to the game for free for everyone that's bought the game. But yeah, more maps, more characters, iron out some of those bugs, especially some of those game breaking bugs that cause your abilities to get locked out. You end up struggling for 10 minutes to try and do something you can't even do.
Yeah.
Survivor stuff needs to be more clearer. It can be overpowering being the demon, and especially towards like the end game, you can really overpower the entirety of the Survivor group pretty easy. I did it a few times today. I actually won 3 games in a row last night before I went off to bed. I played a bit of Evil Dead and managed to win 3 games in a row. So yeah, I think they need to slightly tone down the demon a little bit, especially for new players. Like, there's a lot of people that have bought the game days later, and I'm level 24, and me being a level 24, I can chew through people like they're nothing really.
Isn't
It's more like
that a good
quality
thing
of
about being
life
the demon
aspects.
though? Like, isn't that a good thing?
It
Like,
is, but I can see a lot of people that are new to the game being like, hell no, I ain't playing this. Because getting wrecked by the demon, it will feel a little unfair if you're not so competent at the game. And I think the tutorial needs to be a bit better as well, because there's some stuff in the tutorial that's not very clear until you're actually playing the main game against survivors.
and Joanna Dark asks again, any more you would like to see implemented from other asymmetrical types of games?
Nothing I can think of at the moment. I need more time with the game.
Yeah. So far. It looked a little bit, to me, it looked a little bit like Dead by Daylight, if that makes sense, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, in a way, it has those elements, except you've got the ability to fight back more in this. It's a bit like that Friday the 13th game as well.
Yeah.
But obviously you're a bit better at fighting back in this, so...
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
The maps are pretty huge as well, though, and I think that's what brings it down to a lot of the confusion is how big the maps are for 5 players.
Yeah, really big.
Yeah, they're a bit too big, I think. Maybe scale them back a little bit, or bring out some smaller maps.
Would you say as the demons, it's easy to keep track of all the different players? if they do go off in different directions, or do you think it's quite hard?
It it can be easy, but there's also sometimes where you spawn so far away from people, and if they keep quiet and don't get in any cars and make any noise,
Yeah.
you can spend most of the start of the game lost. It feels like you're lost and just constantly circling to find people. There's
Yeah.
like a noise sort of element to the game. If they make noise and you're nearby, you'll pick it up. You can head to them. It does give you an indication when you're close to people, though, which is pretty nice.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's mainly that the maps are quite big and intimidating to discover. It does have a bit of a learning curve to the game as well.
And you've
I would
mentioned.
recommend.
I was going to say you've mentioned the demons have power ups and you can get stronger and more brutal and things
Hmm.
like that. But what kind of power ups do the human players have? What can they do?
There's like things you go around collecting, like crates. It's called Pink F. It's based on something from the Evil Dead TV series. You can get a bunch of them, and they're like points that you put into attributes like melee, ranged attacks, your health, such like that. So it's pretty similar for survivors, but they have different things to obtain. It's not by like me as a demon going around building up their fear meter to gain points and level up my threat level. It's similar to that, but they have to find the items
Okay.
and then apply it by pressing down on the D-pad, and it gives you like a list of all the different traits that you can put your stuff into. But then again, they also have a level up system as well that you can go outside the game and put skill points into. So there's ways to build your character up and make them slightly stronger.
So what do they
I think
get?
a lot of people
What do they
don't.
get from skill points? Is it like more powerful weapons? Is it what do they get?
It's mainly like buffs and sort of stuff like that
Like higher
deal more
stamina and
damage
health and things like that.
yeah, sort of stuff like that. Health. I'd need to take a proper look into the survivors. Obviously, because I haven't played them much, I've not really looked into them.
Yeah, you just wanted to be evil.
Yeah, like the demons, they have like damage boosters to your minions and stuff like that, and like there's like this dark energy you have to collect to spend on each thing, like traps, minions, when you want to bring yourself in as the demon. Possessions, they all cost it's called infernal energy.
Okay.
It's basically like evil energy that you pick up around the map and you spend on either tormenting them with traps, bringing your minions in, just all sorts of stuff like that. You can actually place traps in boxes as well,
Nice.
like the supply boxes. So you can put like Ash's severed hand in there and it'll jump out of them, or there's mini Ashes from Army of Darkness that you can put in the boxes as well, and they jump out at them as they open boxes, and it's just all stuff that boosts your threat level and pumps up their sort of fear level so that you can possess them survivors.
Yeah, definitely. Phantosaur says, "Man, I loved Evil Dead 2 growing up. See, I loved even the reboot. If everybody remembers the reboot where it's a lead actress is in there, that was such a good reboot of
Oh
Evil
yeah,
Dead.
it's good.
Brilliant, so fun, so
Yeah. I
much
love that
fun.
movie.
But I just remember the first time watching Evil Dead, not having a clue that it was a comedy horror. Didn't have a clue, and then see his hand get chopped off, and then run around, and then stick his finger up, and then run around. I was like, "What is going on?"
That's Evil Dead 2. The original Evil Dead actually got banned because it was a bit over the top in horror, and that's when they sort of Evil Dead 2 is kind of a remake of Evil Dead 1.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
That's where they
though.
sort of
Like,
bring
at
the
that
comedy
point, I
elements
had
to
no
it.
idea that it was a comedy horror, so I was just like giggling. I was like, "This can't be serious. Like, this is such a silly film." I was just giggling. I remember just laughing at it all the time. It was hilarious. Such a good film.
Yeah, it's good.
Um,
I love it though. The silly stuff in Evil Dead.
Yeah, it's
It's
brilliant.
corny. It's a bit
brilliant.
campy, but I like it.
And of course, John O'Doc says, we got to play some Evil Dead.
Definitely. If you see me on, hit me up.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, overall, I really enjoy it. I'm having a blast with it. I'm going to play some more of it. I'm going to stream some more of it. Yeah, it's a good time.
Nice.
It's like, I think, £35. It's not a full price game.
Yeah, it's BMG put
I've
them in the
actually
chat
got
before. It's actually £33.99. It's £34 on Xbox. So sounds like an awesome price for that type of game.
$30.99. $30.99 for the standard edition. The deluxe is $59.99. So yeah,
Good.
it's
really good for that type of game
it's
specifically.
good, yeah. And they're bringing more content to it. If you get the deluxe edition, you get the season pass 1, I think it is.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot of content coming to the game, and if they buff some of those issues out pretty soon, I think a lot of the players that are enjoying it will stick around for a while.
Yeah. I think it's one of these things that will grow, and you've got to have a look at the communities that grow on. Even if you look at Friday the 13th, if you have a look at others of that similar genre, they're very good, specifically streaming games. And streamers will stick to games like that. I think that's one of the awesome things about it. There are certain games that work very well in a streaming environment. Games like Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, Dead by Daylight, Phasmophobia, for instance. All of them games are perfect streaming games for having a laugh with the community, for having a laugh with your friends. Phanto Sir asks, finally, is it just PvP?
No, if you count the missions, they're sort of like single player, but like I said, it's not like a full drawn out story where you're going from beginning of the story to end. They're just, I think it's 5 missions in the game. But I'd assume they're going to add more as content comes to the game.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone that buys the game will obviously get a free map. Can't remember the name of the map. One of my friends told me. He's in the Games Watch group chat as well. JP gabbing about.
Oh yeah.
He brought that to my attention that they're bringing a free map to the game for everyone that's purchased it.
Nice. I didn't realise that was JP when gabbing about floats in. Hello there, JP. Because I've seen you in chat a few times. I didn't realise it was JP. Hello, sir. That me.
Yeah, I should be playing some Evil Dead with him in a bit.
Nice. Good stuff. I'm going to float on to the next one, and I've been playing, which I do have some gameplay for, so I'm going to show you a bit of that. Woo, just go over that. I've been playing some of this. Eiyuden Chronicles Rising. So yeah, initially started off, and I'll be absolutely brutally honest, the initial section of this game is a lot of text. You don't feel like you're getting very, very far. The combat is very simplistic. It's even more simplistic when you're just playing as a singular characters, but you start to unlock characters a little bit further on, which is great. And of course, one of the things I've just realized something here. Woo! This guy is miles off. There we go. But yes, so I have probably played maybe it's about 2-3 hours of this game so far now, and I'm glad I've stuck into it a little bit more because it's starting to open up a bit. So this is the first of 2 games coming from Eiyuden Chronicles. This is the platformer slash side-scrolling beat-em-up game that they've got called Chronicles Rising. The next one next year that is coming out is a JRPG, so of course it's turn-based. Vastly different types of games set in the same universe. You have your initial tasks, and I'll kind of explain the opening sequence of the game. So you're this scavenger that is trying to find this special item on the island that you've just came onto. In order to get a classed as an adventurer's permit to scroll around the island. You need to complete a set of tasks for the locals so that they give you the permit to go and adventure around the island. There are a lot of mundane tasks to do, so help them build a hut, go and collect some stuff. So it's a lot of fetch quests at the beginning. But they start to have a little bit of purpose. So initially when you're finding them, it's like, oh, help me do this and help me find my cat and help me get a little bit of wood and help me get some soap and random rubbish that you don't really care about.
Soap.
Yeah. Stuff that you don't really care about. But then the more you go, as you can see, the combat's pretty basic. It's like jump in, beat them up a couple of times, run away. But it starts to open up a little bit more the higher level you get. But as the quests go on, they start to have a little bit more of a benefit to yourself. So, for instance, someone will say, right, okay, I need a little bit of rock and I need a little bit of wood, and if you bring us that, then I'll be able to build this weapon shop, so that you can buy new weapons and upgrade weapons and things like that. So, like, awesome, that's actually something that's going to benefit us. I'm not just chasing a cat around. So you go and get the materials that they need to build a weapon shop. Next up is an armor shop, so help me build this. So you go and get all the materials for that. But this is just the opening premise, the opening sequence. And of course, this is all just to get your adventurer's pass so that you can actually go out and do the full story, as it were. But before you do, you're essentially building up your home base. You're creating it from scratch. Everything's rubble. It's been destroyed, as you can see here. It's like a broken down clock tower and these little huts and things.
I like the art style of this.
Yeah. It's like 2D, 3D, which is awesome. And they've got a lot of like cool animated like sections as well. So it's obviously got a lot of anime behind it, or kind of anime sequences behind it as well, which is awesome. So the characters are really well drawn out. You can see there the guy's building the next place. So there we go. Leveled him up. He's built the weapons shop. So now we can get the smithy. But yeah, it's slowly but surely you unlock characters, and there's this section here, I think, where you see the next guy come into it. The character that goes along with you, and he's a giant kangaroo guy with a huge sword. But then he can fight alongside you. And instead of being like everyone fighting at the same time, he's kind of there in the background. And you press a button and he jumps in and does the attack. And then you can link your attack with his attack. So essentially you just link or chain link loads of attacks at the same time. And it starts like you build up like a score. And like try to juggle the enemies and things in midair so that they can't really attack you. So yeah, it's starting to get into the look of things.
I'm guessing that like blacksmith and all that is like crafting and stuff.
Yeah. It's got so you've got crafting. The blacksmith's got crafting. You've got obviously the smithy, which improves all the weapons and armor and things you've got, so like buffs them up a bit. And then of course you've got the armor store as well, which you can upgrade your current stuff or you can buy new stuff. And of course, each character that comes along on your party, again, you can upgrade their stuff as well. There's Guru, as I mentioned there, giant kangaroo with a huge sword.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's what I will say as well is
crocodile thing wearing a cowboy hat.
Oh yeah, crocodile and a cowboy hat, a cowboy outfit as well. He's got the scarf and everything on, the vest, you name it.
Is that one of your companions?
Kind of, yeah. He's called Hogan. He's I've forgotten what he is. He's like he's a bit like a local kind of guy, can get you anything type of person. A little bit like a walking shop. So he'll appear and kind of give you hints from time to time and like help you out and stuff, which is awesome. But overall, initial impressions for those who are starting to play it, the first 25, 30 minutes are a bit slow. A lot, and again, you could say a lot of this about a lot of Japanese games as well, or games based in that kind of genre. A lot of text, a lot of stuff to read and go through at the beginning. Very slow to start. Some of the missions at the beginning seem a little bit fetch questy, and it'll put a lot of people off. and it's understandable. Like even me, I was thinking, oh, I don't know whether or not I like this game. Like I love the art style, I love the music, the characters are cool, but I don't know whether or not I like the game itself. Thankfully, it's starting to kind of ramp up a bit, starting to get a bit better, starting to get a lot more things. You're a bit more powerful. Um, I'm looking forward to getting out of this area and getting, because you've got to collect stamps for doing like jobs for the locals, and when you've finished your stamp collection, then you can go out and do the big adventure. Um, so yeah, initial impressions, it's good. I'd say for those who are tempted by it, stick with it past the opening half an hour, 30, 45 minutes. It is a little bit slow on the text. Um, there's a lot to read. In some sections on this video, you'll see me just skimming through some of it because it's just yabba yabba yabba. Whilst once you've completed a task, they talk to you for a while. But yeah, graphically, it looks absolutely awesome. I love the art style, as you mentioned before,
The art
Jem.
style looks great. Yeah.
Art style's awesome. The music is terrific as well. There's some absolutely beautiful music and beautiful soundtracks that go with different areas. And when you go into different areas, they've all got their own unique soundtracks as well, which is good. All the different enemies that you come up against have got their own different attacks or type of attacks. So you'll come up to, like I say, like these little flan things that are on the floor, and they kind of just jump at you, and kind of do a little bit of damage. And you've got these floating kind of balls of fluff that just are really easy. They're kind of there as more like filler targets, and they don't really damage you at all, and they're really easy to take down. Then you've got these bat type of things that have this ability to kind of fire directly at you and do damage, so you can kind of have to take them out a bit quicker. You've got like poisonous spore type things as well, that can kind of come at you as well and kind of fire spores long distance.
So, like the companions in this game, are they always like fighting alongside you in combat, or is it like a summon type thing?
So yeah, the companions themselves are you essentially press like they are always there, but they don't attack at the same time as you. So for you to attack, you press X. You've got a special move as well. So for the main character, it says you can a couple of the things there. For the main character, you can kind of dash forward and dash back. And same goes for the second character. Has got a special move as well. I haven't actually found out what his is yet because I haven't used it.
So, like, companion characters, they're sort of like assigned to a separate button.
Yes. So the companion character, so when you press X and then you automatically press Y, the companion character will come in and do an attack as well. So your
So
attack...
it's sort of like a tag team sort of attack.
Yes, yeah. So you tag team him, but you can tag him in and tag him out, or you can just kind of quickly switch between the two. So you kind of, he comes in with a slash and then you go straight back in with another one and it juggles them in midair. Or you can just press Y and change to the other character, which is awesome.
Is it like press and hold, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm probably going to try this out. I'm going to install it after we're done here. Give it a little try. Probably not a game I'll stream.
Yeah, it's a small game as well. It's only like I would like to say maybe it's under 4 gig. If correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it gets better. As you can see there on the screen as well, there's a stamp collection at the top there. So you collect stamps. You finish side quests, you help the villagers and things like that. The quicker you get that done, the quicker you get into the big meaty main story is what you're trying to do. And of course, we know there's there's obviously going to be some overarching evil villain type of thing in the game, but I haven't got to him yet. At the minute, I'm meeting all the different mercenaries because you're a scavenger, so you're a treasure hunter. The guy that's with you there, the big kangaroo guy, he's a mercenary, so he's just a hired help essentially. He doesn't really want to work with you, but he starts getting a little bit more friendly with you as time goes on, and you get better, and you upgrade your gear and upgrade his gear. There's loads of different sections that unlock kind of steadily as you progress. So like the caves, the Great Forest, and then each of those have different areas that you can only get through when you've upgraded your gear. So for instance, you can't get past these huge boulders without the first side companion that you've got there, which is the kangaroo who has a massive sword. Once you've got his huge sword, then you can summon him to bash the boulder and break it open. Then you've got another area unlocked. So then you can go down there. There's like a harvesting mode in here as well. So there's certain parts of the map that can be harvested. So there's certain trees there that break apart and you get wood. There's certain rocks that can be mined. In certain areas, there's things you can pick up like jelly and things like that off the floor that help kind of with glues and stuff like that.
I just noticed like the trees that flash are the ones you can break down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And certain areas have their own specific things as well. So, for instance, you can only get in the main forest, you can get mushrooms, rocks, and wood. So, if you need any three of those, you go to the main forest. Then there's other sections. So, if you need iron ore or things like that, then you would go to the caves and go into the caves for that particular item. There's a fast travel thing as well. So, you can either fast travel at the posts. Or, as I discovered later on, you open up your map once you've been to a location and you can fast travel via waypoints on your map as well, which is easy to kind of navigate. When you get to each section's like a little kind of story. If you haven't been there before, you'll see an exclamation mark, and that will kind of allude straight in a nice little story kind of sequence to kick you off. But yeah, it's an awesome game so far. I'm actually glad I'm sticking into it because it was very slow at the start. There's no doubt about that. But it's certainly improving, which is good. Certainly improving. But yeah, overall, I would give it a play so far for going on the General Series pass or play. I wouldn't say it is a must play yet, but it's definitely something you don't need a lot of space to have on your hard drive and try out. It's a small game. Again, it's an indie game. I would definitely play it. Like I say, stick in through the first slow half an hour because it is slow at the beginning. Once you've got to grips with things, you'll be all right.
Yeah, Fantosa said it's 4 gig. He's installing it now.
Yes, definitely. It's certainly worth the install. Like I say, the music, beautiful music. Awesome artwork. The combat gets more appealing the more you go on. You start upgrading things. You start wiping things out really quickly. When you start chaining attacks together and things like that, it's awesome. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Mr. Joanna Dark says, "Have you tried Loot River and Unsold?" Not as yet. I do need to. I haven't tried Unsold. I haven't really been. I don't know what to make of that one yet. Loot River, I do want to play, but I'm not really in the mind frame for a roguelite as it stands yet. I don't know.
Loot
I need to
River's
be in
on
the
my
right
list.
mind frame for that. Yeah. But yes, absolutely awesome. Awesome so far. I'm glad like I say, I'm just glad I stuck into it because it was pretty tedious at the beginning. I didn't know what to make of it. I had some gameplay recorded the other day of it, and it was just literally 30 odd minutes of talking. I was like, when is the game going to start? I just want to play. Like, from some of the stuff that you've seen is when you're going over different areas and you're bashing people around, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I want to play that. And you don't really get into that until like where I am now, where you're kind of going into certain sections and you've got your guy with you, and you've got to go to certain areas and unlock certain things. So, yeah. Yes. Awesome. Awesome stuff. I'm going to leave that running actually whilst we start talking about the next bit. Next. The big news of the week. We're going to get each other's thoughts on this one. And what can be done to be improved. We had the news, and I suspected it to kind of get it out of the way of before the showcase. But Bethesda Game Studios announced both Redfall and Starfield have been delayed to the first quarter of 2023.
It stings a little.
Yeah.
But if it needed to be delayed, there's not much really anyone can say.
Nope.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yep.
But what's more important, that the game comes out and it's in working condition, or the game comes out and it's full of problems?
Yeah. And I
I'd
think
rather the game be delayed.
I was going to say, I think there's one thing everybody can kind of agree with on this front, and I think nobody's disagreeing. If the game needs delayed to make it a better game, go for it. That's absolutely fine. We all agree with that sentiment because we don't want another Halo where it's lacking content. We don't want another Cyberpunk where it's lacking polish and performance. We don't want another Fallout 76 where it's just messed up beyond all recognition at the start. I mean, there's countless games we can kind of summarize here, but what we don't want is a game that's either half finished or broken at the start.
Yeah.
But what this does cause is a gaping hole in what was Microsoft's first party output for 2022. And that's the one thing I tried to put across in my post the other day, is I'm not bothered that the game is delayed. That's not something that bothers me.
I don't think that's really anyone's issue, and I think there's some people out there that don't quite get that concept.
Yeah. I'm not bothered. It's the fact that Microsoft and Xbox have had zero first party output, none whatsoever, since November of last year, and won't have any first party. So far, of course, we don't know what the showcase has gone on hold for us yet. So as it stands, from what we know, zero first party output until up to March of next year. So that's 15 months without a singular release. So I'm not good that you delayed the game. I'm glad you've delayed the game. If the game needs more polish, same said for Redfall. From what I saw of Redfall, as great as it is, as cool as the gameplay looked, it certainly didn't look finished. It looked nowhere near finished from what I'd seen. So if it's a case that you need to delay them both to get them ready, go for it. But this falls on a Microsoft problem, and if you have to think, Bethesda's acquisition actually only officially cemented themselves this year. They didn't actually officially finish being part of Microsoft until this year. What else did Microsoft have going? If Bethesda and Activision, if Bethesda and Blizzard had essentially not, what am I talking about? Bethesda, ZeniMax, Bethesda, and what was the other one? Bethesda. There's more than one people in charge of Bethesda.
I can't remember. I'm blanking on that.
I keep mixing them all up, it's because of bloody acquisitions. But yeah, Bethesda, ZeniMax, etc. If it wasn't for the fact that they're part of the team, Xbox have no first-party output this year. So then what?
Yeah.
So then what's the excuse then? To me, that sounds like a no. I'm not trying to shout out names here, but it's not Phil Spencer's problem now, because Phil Spencer's head of Microsoft Gaming. Who manages the studios? That's Matt Booty. So Matt Booty needs to do a better job in managing his first-party studios from top to bottom. Yeah. We've mentioned the management issues over recent months, whether that be with 343, whether that be with the initiative. There's clearly an issue with the way that they've been ran. The initiative came out. Several of their staff have said it seems a little bit far too laid back. They didn't check on anything. They didn't do anything. They kind of just left us to it. There was too many people wanting ideas and wanting voices and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think they're being far too hands-off, and that's kind of a problem there because people are taking their sweet time about putting things together with the game.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to be a little bit more hands-on, so maybe 50-50 hands-on, hands-off.
They have to do it on it. What it sounds like to me is at the minute, they are completely one solution fits all. We're going to be hands-off with every studio. And I don't think...
Yeah, that might work in the case of something like Psychonauts.
Yeah.
And Tim Schafer's team.
Or Playground Games.
Might not be the same for another team.
Yeah, you'd be content with leaving Playground Games getting to it. Or Tim Schafer's team. He's good enough to do his own stuff. But when you talk about the overall management of the studio portfolio and everything they've got going, you can't say during a 15-month period there is nothing to release. Zero. And you've got to think the last game that released was Halo, which was a delay of a game that should have been out the year before. So even then, if you dial it back a little bit further on, to Forza Horizon, which was a surprise drop, and that was several months earlier, it's actually closer to about 18 months if you're looking at actual new games. And that's just not good enough.
Yeah,
That isn't from a company with 23 development studios on board and over 40 projects.
does seem like that statement they said where they want to get to one big game out per quarter is further away than we might think.
Yeah, I mean, you have to shout out, thankfully, because a lot of people got it in the neck, and of course you get the same old apologists that come out, and I'm gonna have to say it, but yeah, but you can play third-party games. Yeah, but PlayStation. Yeah, but this. I'm not talking about PlayStation. I'm not talking about third-party. I'm not talking about any of that stuff, right? This has got nothing to do with the fact that the game's been delayed. That is a good thing. It's got nothing to do with being able to play third-party games. It's got nothing to do with PlayStation releasing content. What I'm speaking on specifically is the management of 23 first-party studios from Xbox. They have not put out a game in potentially 15 months. That you have to speak up on. Yes, I'm going to be playing all these awesome third-party games. Yes, I'm going to be playing The Plague's Tale. Yes, I'm going to be playing
Most
Stalker.
people are going to be playing the third-party games. I don't know why even anyone's bringing up that, yeah, third-party games exist. We all know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Our
We
issue
all
isn't
play
with the
these third-party
third-party
games.
games.
We're going to be having fun with them. That's not the point. I'm not saying that we're not going to have games to play. What I'm saying is it isn't good enough for a first-party company, an entire portfolio of studios, 23 studios, to have nothing to show in 15 months. If me, you, or anybody else was in any other job and you had nothing, no work to show your boss in 15 months that was ready
questions.
to go.
It'd be big questions.
Big questions. You'd be lucky not to be sacked. If you had nothing no output.
Something has to change. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the leadership. Obviously, I can't speak on that personally. I don't work for any of these companies. I don't see how things are handled there.
I was going to say,
it feels like a leadership issue.
We've spoken it before, though. It seems like they've got a one hat fits all mentality. Like, we're going to be laid back with every studio, and they don't. Some studios need hands-on approach, and some studios do need the hands-off approach. Some of them need a middle ground approach. You have to take it time by time. If it is in fact, and we have to say this, and it's no shine off Matt Booty, but you have to say, is 23 studios too much for one man to handle?
It seems like it.
Does he have to have people that he has as kind of works under him? That, right? Okay, well you've got 7 studios, you've got 7 studios, you've got 7 studios, and you've got 7 studios. Everyone reports to their individual leaders, and them 4 people report to me. Like, delegate.
Yeah, I think he needs some sort of assistance, because whatever is going on there obviously doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you take out Bethesda entirely, what's the rest of Microsoft Studios doing?
Don't know. I mean, it's only going to get harder for them when and if the Activision deal goes through. I don't expect it to fail. I expect it to go through, but we don't know. It's only going to get harder then, because there's going to be even more teams. It's like, 30-something?
I was going to say the one thankful thing about the ActiBliz deal is that Phil Spencer's already come out and said, you will report to me. So we know Matt Booty's not going to be looking after ActiBliz at all. So that's going to be straight to Phil Spencer. Matt Booty's not in charge of that. Good.
Yeah, but I still think he's got a plateful with what
He
he's
has.
got.
He
And
has.
I don't know if they need to bring in someone else to assist him.
He needs to have
But
sub managers. He needs to have sub people below him that look after set teams that he trusts. And he
yeah,
says,
I
right,
mean, they
okay,
could have a manager that is there overseeing all the hands-off teams, and he just pops in every now and then and goes, "You all right, mate? Yeah, doing good. No,
any help?
problems.
What help do you need?
Need any help?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, but it needs to be done pretty fast to get things back on track with the
100%.
studios they have, because
100%. I knew for a
it's
fine fact
becoming
there is
an issue.
no. You have to put it this way as well. Do you know any company in the world, to put it bluntly, do you know any company that you've worked for or been around in your life where there is one manager for 23 teams?
No,
Do you know anyone that has 23 teams and there's one person that looks after all of them?
no. There's usually a head of each team that when they need some help, they'll come and
And
ask for it.
what normally happens? So you've got a set of maybe 3-4 teams that report to an ops manager, and that ops manager then reports to another manager. It might sound diluted, but you'd need that in some cases. You do need to dilute it a little bit more and say, right, we've got 4 teams. Each of those have got studio directors. Those studio directors are going to go towards an operations manager who looks after those 4. We're going to have 4 operations managers. Those operations managers are going to report to the director. So if the director is Matt Booty, he needs operations managers underneath him who have several managers or directors, game directors, whatever you want to call them.
People that answer to them, and then those people that they answer to, then they go up the chain, don't they?
Exactly.
It's how it is with any company.
Yep.
You need that chain to function correctly,
and then each of those you can essentially get people, these ops managers involved, and you say, right, these studios are very much hands off, so we need someone who's going to be a little bit more in the background, who just has to drop in and ask them from time to time, do you need anything else you can help with? Blah 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 blah. They're fine. We need a guy that's really good, that's good with hands-on studios that need a lot of help and a lot of shepherding. You're in charge of these 4 companies, so you look after these teams. We need another one that does this and another one that does this. There we go. We've got an awesome set of hierarchy that goes there. And then I don't have to shout at the teams individually as one guy. Instead of having every one of these studio directors pull them away for team meetings left, right, and centre with Matt Booty, who will have 23 studio heads underneath them in one Zoom call. Each one of these ops managers will have a Zoom call with their little sections all at the same time. And then Matt Booty has a singular Zoom call with 4 ops managers, and they'll just break down what's happening with each studio. This is this, and this. Anything you want to relate to them?
Yeah, that's definitely what they need to do, but whether they do it is another thing.
And we've seen what happens
doesn't
with.
seem like.
I was going to say we've seen what happens with 343, and they've got 1,000 staff, countless management, and it's not organised.
That game had been in development for 6 years, and it's still lacking content.
So for me, the question's not on should a game be delayed. That's not a problem. That's not what we're bothered about. Granted, it'll be absolutely awesome that it's been delayed, and it looks absolutely awesome. Happy days. But what about the rest of them? The question is on Xbox Game Studios as an entirety as to where and how that company is managed their portfolio. Not managed in general, just their portfolio. How are you managing the portfolio of games that you've got going on, the projects?
Yeah, and they need to obviously put in some sort of system that reduces this from happening in the future with other games.
Yeah. And if, and I'm going to say this again, if it is the case that work from home is just starting to disrupt specifically anything to do with UK or Europe, which are very much office-based now. I can understand America, who's having a lot of issues. But any of your European teams who are very much office-based now, or can be, if working from home is starting to slow down the process of getting them games working correctly or done correctly, then you move everybody back into the office. Simple as that. If it's starting to affect the work outflow and you're not getting the right output from your teams because they're working from home and the job's not getting done, then you bring them back in the office. And I've known for a fact sometimes if you're sitting by yourself and you're twiddling your thumbs or trying to do sometimes trying to work by yourself in an office environment and there's nobody else around, you won't get half as much of the work that you need done correctly, or even in as normally as you would if you've got somebody shepherding you or around you at any given opportunity. Some people need that focus. Some people need getting pushed by people to get the job done. Not every one of your team is going to be somebody who's competent enough to work by themselves or work from home. Some people, this again goes down to management again, but some people within that team are going to need a hands-on approach. Some people are going to need a kick up the backside because they're a little bit lazy. And it's not to say that they're bad at their jobs, but some people are just lazy when they haven't got somebody in the rear going, come on, what are you doing?
And then they get easily distracted as well if
easily distracted, exactly.
they're left for too long.
Exactly. It's just easily distracted. And again, it's not to say that the developers are bad. It's not to say that management is bad. It's just the way in which it's managed needs handled better. Sometimes working from home is not the best solution. If you think this particular staff member will work better in an office environment and being able to keep an eye on them and pushing them because you know they're great at their job, but you know that they get distracted easily working from home, then bring them back in the office. Or say, right, you've got 1 day at home this week, 4 days in the office. You just, simple, you give them incentives. Okay, and then when I start to see it improve, you can have 2 days at home and 3 days in the office. And 3 days at home and 1 day at the office. Whatever. Incentivize the employees. It shouldn't take that, but some people get distracted easily when they're not working in a team or a team that they can see or interact with.
It's just weird to me as well, like this whole situation with Starfield, how just days before they announced the delay, they were tweeting out pictures about being at a meal with the staff. Okay. So you couldn't tell us this before that, and make people think everything's cushy, all good.
Yeah. I think it must have came from Phil, the delay. He must have, I think Phil or Matt Booty have both sat there and said, you know what it is? Instead of making a last minute decision on this, I'm just going to call it now. Push the game back. We'll get it out the way of. We'll get the announcement out the way of. We'll take the brunt now. And we'll deal with the consequences.
I think it's better that they did do this prior to their event, though.
Oh God, because imagine announcing a delay
after the event. Yeah, it would have been a lot worse.
Yep. So now there's a different type of enthusiasm for the event that's coming up. But before I get into that, what are your overall thoughts on what's happened and kind of your point of view?
I'm disappointed, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I really wanted to play Starfield this year, but if they need a few extra months to polish the game, get rid of some bugs that might be game breaking, work on a few more of the mechanics to make sure they're working smoothly, and so be it. Plenty of other games coming out that are going to grab my attention. Gotham Knights comes out 2 weeks before Starfield. I'm sure that game is going to keep me tied to it for a while anyway. So
well, I'll put my game now is Plague Tale Requiem. Please don't delay. And guess who liked the post?
The company.
I was like, don't you dare.
But yeah, Gotham Knights will probably be the game I'm most looking forward to now. It was Starfield, and I was excited for Starfield.
Yeah,
I wanted to explore the stars and all the fields.
Yeah.
But doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe something, the so-called E3, I'm just going to call it E3.
Yeah.
Might as well just call it E3. Maybe they go, and just to surprise you, here's a Starfield demo. You can download it right after the show.
Yeah.
Maybe they do something like that, and people go, okay, maybe you do need that extra few months to fix the game. But yeah, it's disappointing, and something needs to be done to rein the teams in that do have issues with the hands-off approach.
Yeah.
It's something that's been a struggle at Xbox for a while now, and it keeps happening. And people want answers, and people want solutions, and now is the time that they need to come up with this solution so that this doesn't happen as frequently in the future.
Yeah. Phantom Source, I think it's the first time Bethesda have delayed a game. You know what it is? I think it probably is, and I think that's a good thing. I think Microsoft
that brings me to this point, though. If they wasn't owned by Microsoft,
they would have released it.
Would they have still put Starfield out this year?
Yeah.
Probably.
100%. 100%.
So I think this is...
It is a good thing overall.
A decision from Phil Spencer.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's definitely a good thing. What I want to ask you now, Jen, and actually I want to come to a quick point before we get into that. Joshua James made a good point. I think Microsoft's fear of crunch is to the average person is just overtime, and what also hurting them as well. Yeah, exactly. So the average person, I did put this on screen before, the average person is just overtime, but it is hurting them. And it's not just a fear of crunch, it's because of certain personalities in the community that keep harping on about crunch as if it's not in every form of job in the world.
It's in every industry.
Looking at you, Jason Schreier, every industry in the world. You think game developers have got it bad? Go to stock market and look at a stock market broker.
Go to a warehouse.
Jesus Christ, 96-hour weeks.
Work in a warehouse.
Warehouse workers.
I worked in warehouse
workers. Anything. If you have
a
a
look
look
at
the
warehouse, and it's a pain in the arse.
Have a look at the retail business around any holiday. Talking about crunch. You don't know. Jason's clearly never done crunch in his life, and it's people like him, the perpetrators of crunch is bad. Crunch is just overtime, mate. The vast majority of developers have saying no. Sometimes crunch is needed, and sometimes crunch is what we do because we want to crunch, because we want to make it as good as we can, because we want to get the best game out.
You probably find maybe more than half of it is volunteered crunch.
100%.
Because people like working on what they're working on.
100%. They want the game to be good. Why on earth would they want their work to come out and people hate it?
Exactly.
In no universe is that something that happens. Oh yeah, I'm going to release this game and I want people to dislike it.
Like forced crunch, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to work an extra few hours here and there,
sometimes crunch is mandatory because there is a deadline to hit, but other times they crunch themselves because they want to improve things. And that's it. It's going to be like in any business, you're going to get some mandatory crunch where they're like, right, you have to do overtime today because we're just too busy. We've just got too many people, we've got too many this, too many that. You have to work. There's no getting out of it. Right, okay, you hate it. Of course you hate it.
My dad works in CCTV and occasionally he has to do crunch.
Yeah.
Work an extra shift.
Exactly. It's necessary in every industry, unfortunately. It happens. But that aside, I think the major problem with the modern world now is there's so many people that will complain, and it's the younger generation specifically that like to complain or claim harassment or claim bullying. There's certain people that claim certain things when they're not. When it's simply just asking them to do a job. Giving them critical feedback. You can't even critically feedback some staff these days because they claim like you're picking on them or something. If someone's not doing a job correctly, you can't be scared to critically give them feedback or to be critical about their work. And I've seen this even if you go way back. If anybody watches the making of God of War documentary, and you have a look at what Cory Barlog says about his artistry team, have a listen to what he says about the art team. Careful, like they upset easily. Why would you have to worry about that? Who gives a shit? I'm sorry, but if I don't give a shit if you're upset. If you're not doing a good enough job, I'm going to have to let you know. Because if it's not going to be good enough, then I can't release the game in this state. So we're going to have to improve, and I'm going to
Exactly.
give you it in a positive, like, it's going to have to be critical because you have to understand that this stuff needs to improve, and if it doesn't improve, then we can't release it. So
I
please,
don't know why it is that the gaming industry is so frowned upon with crunch time. Like we both said, crunch time exists in all industries.
yeah. And of course, there's going to be some
So-
there's going to be some dickhead managers that are singling out certain people and being a prick to them, but that is few and far between. There's a lot of soft arses these days in any job. I'm not just talking the game industry, but it's been the same in my industry. It's been the same in retail. It's been the same in fast food. There's always one soft arse that claims that they're getting picked on all the time when he's getting the same treatment that every other member of staff is getting. But he wants something more. He wants looked after better than everybody else. He, she, whatever it is.
No
All
special
them,
privileges.
Yeah, special privilege. That's what they want. Certain people want special privileges. They want to be treated differently. Sorry, there's going to have to come a point where that just gets binned. Stop giving special privileges to people that are soft as clarts. If they're too
You'll
soft,
get to the
or
point where
raised,
nothing gets done.
exactly. If they're being
Right.
raised in a method that tells them, and this is the we're gonna have a look at the generation where they didn't have they've got runners up medals, and there's no such thing as a first place. It's just a competing at take. No, fuck off. Competition is good. Right. It's that generation. It's the generation of people that have been told that it's the taking part that counts. Well, no, the whole point in a race is to see who comes first. Is it to get there at the end?
That's why
we have
so many kids
competitions.
grow up spoiled in this day and age.
Yeah.
Because they're led to believe that the impossible, you know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Gavin About's point though, JP, so do you think Sony can announce Ragnarok in Starfield's former release window? I also am under the belief, my personal belief, that Ragnarok will not come out this year.
Yep, I believe that too.
Yep.
I've said it on multiple of these podcasts and on the main show as well. I don't think that game is coming this year. I think that game is coming March, maybe early March. Could even be May. I think the last God of War game came out in May.
Yep.
So why not shoot for that same month?
And from judging by Corey Bollogg's words, and he's a studio director after all, he's not the director of that game, but he's the man that makes the decisions overall. He said they're not ready to show gameplay yet. That was last month.
Mm-hmm. If they're not ready to show gameplay, then it's not going to change that fast.
Nope.
Unless some miracle happens.
Yeah.
I expect we'll see PlayStation's event in September like it was last year, and that's where we'll see gameplay. Now, announced the game isn't coming out till early next year, maybe.
Yep.
Mid to early next year is when I expect that game to come out.
Yeah. But yes, another question. Where was it? There was another one there actually. There we go. Fanto Sir. I wonder if they have anything for the Christmas window now. So yeah, next part of this discussion is what do Xbox/Microsoft have to do in this upcoming showcase to win back some of that, should we say, lost enthusiasm?
I think they are working on some surprises.
Yeah.
Like Forza Horizon 5 was a surprise. And it looks like one of those surprises might be a Gears of War collection. Take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Idle Sloth. He took a timestamp off of Xbox Era's recent podcast that Colt Eastwood was on.
Yeah.
And Special Nick was talking about a collection of games, and he also mentioned that people had guessed it right. A lot of people did guess that it was Gears of War.
Yeah.
So it looks like that is coming this year.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Could point to a 12th of June reveal, the showcase. So I fully expect Gears of War collection. We've all been wanting it for a long time. Me, a lot of people, including Berserker who is a huge Gears of War fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw that and I immediately added him in that tweet. I was like, yep, got to send that to him.
We've been losing ships in the area.
I think we will have that Gears collection. But again, it's going to be disappointing for some people because a lot of people do complain that all Xboxes is Gears, Forza and Halo.
Yeah.
But for people like me,
reckon I could take this fella down without making a noise.
Enjoy this game. You know, I love Gears, so I'm going to be playing this if it does come out. But yeah, I expect other games as well. Maybe could be that time to announce Wolfenstein 3.
Yep.
Maybe that comes out this fall as well. Could be some other surprises. Who knows? Definitely not ODST 2.
I'll tell you what will be a surprise though. Somebody said somebody needs to stand up and release a game this year, or save Xbox or something. In Exile released a post, or put a post up with a little meme, like basically saying like Xbox's, I think it was a hole or something, and like who's gonna fill that hole basically. And in Exile were like putting a picture up of them filling the Xbox hole for 2022. So it could be that in Exile have got something ready to roll for this year. So
wasn't their project sort of hinted at already?
Yes.
The name of the project, I can't remember what it is though.
Yeah.
Was that Project Suerte or whatever that was called?
Was that not IOI?
Oh yeah, it was IOI, wasn't it? There's so many damn Xbox project code names, and I just forget them.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same.
I'm not sure what their project name is, but yeah, could see an Exiles game.
Oh, definitely. Gruesome Glenn says, yeah, Gears needs a fresh collection because all the old Gears games online is dead. Yeah, the old games are. Yeah, Gears 5 is still okay, but the old games, you are correct. The online is next to nobody there now. GoldenEye needs to come out too. We agree. It's been hinted at. With
this Gears collection, though, do you expect it to be all the multiplayer Gears games, or do you think it'll just be all the stories and a
I think it's going to
be multiplayer that incorporates all of
I think it's going to be in
previous
line,
Gears games?
I think it's going to be in line with something like the Master Chief Collection, where you can play them all back to back. You can play all of the online you can play all of the campaigns, and you can play a mishmash of all of the maps. Like on Master Chief Collection, you can select to play everything, either all together or individually. But of course, it'll change game mode types because some maps are only Halo 1, some maps are Halo 2, and it'll change the type of Halo you're playing depending on what map you're choosing. But I think it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be like the Master Chief Collection, and no doubt it'll call it the Phoenix Collection or something stupid. But
yeah, that's what I expect it to be. Phoenix Collection. I don't expect it to be called Marcus Phoenix Collection because there's two characters with the surname Phoenix, so it'll just be the Phoenix Collection.
Yeah. But yeah, what else do you think? How else do you think they can save 2022?
I think if they don't have anything coming surprises wise from the first party, they need to nail down some stuff for Game Pass, and you know my stance on I think Saints Row will come to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Maybe some deals like that. Maybe they somehow manage to get Gotham Knights in Game Pass.
Yeah.
They need to throw that cash somewhere because they need to fill that void.
Yeah. I agree.
So yeah, I expect them to go for some third party deals with Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to agree. They'll definitely get some. I think they'll already have third party deals lined up for Game Pass. Anyways, we know A Plague Tale's coming. In a couple of weeks, we get Sniper Elite 5, of course, on screen at the minute. You've got Sniper Elite 4. But you will get Sniper Elite 5 on screen, kind of in Game Pass on the 25th of May, I do believe it is. And And there's bound to be a few more. There's going to be some big surprises, no doubt, which is going to be awesome. For me, I think In Exile have obviously got something ready. We know that, of course, I think it was Jez Corden might have mentioned it. And I know he said don't take it with a pinch of salt because he's only heard it from a couple of people. But as far as he knew, or at least what he was informed, was that Whispers had it that all 23 studios had something to show at the showcase. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the studios had a game ready to go, or at least close to being ready to go, that they can put out this year. In Exile certainly look like it's one of the studios that have something ready to rock and roll this year. If that is the case, then awesome. See what that is. But will they be big enough to replace a Starfield is the other question. Starfield's a big gap in that holiday lineup. A big gap. Redfall, not so much. We kind of all expected Redfall to be delayed.
Yeah, I did fully expect Redfall to be delayed.
We hadn't seen anything of it. We hadn't heard anything
how
about
quiet
it.
they went.
It was more of an enigma, to be honest. We didn't know anything about the game apart from leaked stuff. That was very fuzzy, like recorded on a camera, like a 3310. It was bad image quality, whatever it was that was recorded. Yes, I think they're going to have stuff to show. Do I think they've got a game big enough to replace Starfield this fall? No. Do I think they're going to try and find something to fit the slot? Yes. Do I think Forza's coming out this year? No. Do I think Forza would fit that slot? No. Yes, it's a big sim racer, but it's a very niche section of gamers that plays those games. So even if it did come out, it's not going to fill the void that is left by a major release like Starfield. Yeah, I think it'd be full of surprises. I think if you were to look at it now, out of everything they've got or could show, if you were to go out on a limb and say they're going to release this game this year, what games do you think they'll surprise people with and release this year?
I got a big feeling Wolfenstein 3 is coming.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the last one, and there's rumors that the third one was planned to come out last year.
Yeah.
So maybe it comes out this year instead. It would make sense. I would like to see it because I want to see that trilogy closed out. So I do expect that. Just trying to think what else they've got in the works. They could be ready to just drop at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Other than something Gears related that we all expect, but it's something that we already expect. So it's a hard one, really. We don't know what they could be working on, really. It needs to be something different.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe Contraband is closer to being ready than we think.
Uh-huh. It's a good one.
So maybe that could come this fall.
That's a good one.
We did see that last year, just the unveiling trailer. Maybe they show some gameplay off and go, it's coming November, mid-November sort of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do need something, especially something different than Gears, Forza, and Halo.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to see something else Halo, because I'm a huge fan, I feel that we as an entire community on Xbox, we crave something new.
Yep. I think things we will get at the game show, and I'll go out on a limb and say this, we will get a Sea of Thieves expansion, or a Sea of Thieves new big mode like we got last time with the Pirate's Life. You will get Forza Horizon expansion announcement, and possibly released within a week or so of the showcase, like the Pirate's Life was.
Yeah, the Forza Horizon expansion is something I'm expecting, and that's one of the reasons why I think that Forza Motorsports isn't coming this year.
It is delayed. It's usually out within 3 months of the game. So the fact that it's still not out and we're waiting for a showcase for the expansion to be announced kind of says a lot of the area that they're in at the minute. Stuff Sean says Idle Sloth thinks Hellblade 2 may be ready. I don't think it's ready, but I do think it is going to showcase combat gameplay. It's one of the areas of the game they've worked on a lot from the first one. So they're going to showcase combat gameplay, and they're going to give us a release date for Hellblade 2. Do I think
that
it's this year?
for sure comes out early next year.
Yeah. I don't think it comes out this year, but I think it comes out next year. Indiana Jones, you got a good shout again from Gruesome Glenn. Yes, Bethesda are working on Indiana Jones.
It's Machine Games, right?
Games, yeah.
Are working on that. I don't expect that this
to
year.
work on it. Unbelievable studio, Machine Games, really good.
I don't expect that to come this year, though.
Yeah, I don't foresee it being this year, but yes, they are working on it. Yeah. They've got a lot of games. Bethesda have a lot of games. Of course,
they have that rumored Mandalorian games in the work that could be an MMO. Yeah. Maybe that comes this year.
Yep.
Who knows?
Remember, you've also got Compulsion Games. Have got a game to show off as well. They've been working on a game for a while. People keep mentioning Age of Empires console, but I wouldn't expect to see Age of Empires 4 on console or even announced at this showcase. You have, of course, mentioned Forza Motorsport, but from what I know, that game hasn't been tested for a while. Obviously, they have game testers that help and work and refine that game prior to release. Obviously, you need QA testers, specifically with sim racers, to make sure certain aspects are done, certain aspects are correct, etc. And refine it as things go on. And as far as I'm aware, that hasn't been tested, and there hasn't been testing on that game for a while, so I don't think it's in a position to release as yet. However, could they announce a release date for closer to Christmas, say November, December, and then get the QA team to come in and do some final checks over the next 2 months? Possibly. But that would leave things pretty close.
Yeah, I don't feel a rush.
Yeah.
To get that out.
And I don't think coming out to. I think if they've got the balls on them right now to delay the only 2 big first-party games that they had ready to release this year to next year, then they will not pressure another studio to put out a game this year. Thank you, before we continue, to Fanto Sir, who upgraded his membership from Entry Mix-Up to Mix-Up Crew. Thank you, sir. Appreciated.
Yeah, I think Forza Motorsports comes out end of next year.
Yeah, maybe it's not even end. I think maybe he's could be the middle.
Possibly. But I do like to launch their game in the fall, right?
Historically, but I don't think Xbox are doing things by previous histories anymore.
True, yeah, true. We all know that.
Yeah, I think what they and again it was mentioned before regarding crunch, but Microsoft are very anti-crunch right now. So I can't foresee them just putting it into their regular time slots to put it into a regular time slot. Joshua James says, isn't there a smaller title from Obsidian in development? I think someone saying it is the potential of releasing this year. Possibly. Of course, Grounded 1.0 is going to release this year, which obviously is awesome. Awesome for that small team for taking a little passion project and actually making it reality. But yeah, both Obsidian and Exile, there's a number of studios there have several projects on the works, so it's a good shot. It's a good shot. I think we'll see a lot of kind of larger indie type games from some of these studios getting announced at the showcase, i.e. their second or third projects. But yeah, I still think this game showcase is going to be full of surprises. It's going to be full of awesome games. It's going to be full of new things that we haven't seen before. There is going to be some surprise releases potentially this year.
I want to see less of the announcements that are very far out.
I think
more of the announcements that are close.
The good thing is, I think last year and throughout the year, they've pretty much nailed down every project they've got in the works, aside from maybe 4 or 5 tops. Could we hear about the fabled Kojima Xbox partnership? Could we hear
possibly
about these other projects, like from Eiyuden Interactive, everything this year? Possibly. It's a point we shall see. I think there is still a lot to be positive about for this showcase. What I will say though, and my final thoughts on it before we get out of here.
I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, 100%. My final thoughts on it before we get out of here is, I think there is a much bigger emphasis on this showcase now than there was before. I think they've got a lot more pressure on them now to put out an awesome showcase than they have before, primarily because of those delays. I think if those delays weren't happening and Starfield and Redfall was still releasing this year, then the emphasis to have something amazing coming out of this showcase was far less. I think now the pressure is on them to have an amazing showcase to make up for the fact that they have nothing currently releasing this year. What's your final thoughts on it all?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I'm really excited for the show, regardless.
Oh, yeah, same.
We're going to see a lot of stuff. We're bound to see some surprises because surely, no way they delay 2 big games. Well, 1 big game and a smaller game and not have nothing else to show.
Yeah.
So they must be sitting on something that is pretty much ready to go.
Yeah. You would hope so. Like I say, NXIL put that post up teasing something, so NXIL might have.
I still can't remember what their code name for that project is.
I know.
I was trying to think about it just a minute ago, but I just couldn't. Yeah. There's too many projects in the works, and not enough official names for these projects.
But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think personally the emphasis on the showcase has only got bigger for them. To knock it out the park. What I said,
they have to. I do have a question though.
Yeah.
How much Starfield do you expect to see?
Oh, I think we'll still see the full amount of gameplay as we were going to see.
See, I think they might show less just to make that sting feel a little less worse that it's been delayed. And maybe towards the end of the year, they show more.
Possibly. I think we'll still get the trailer that I mentioned. It was like a gameplay trailer with music on and things like that. But I think potentially the full breakdown gameplay in-depth stuff will come maybe a month after, as opposed to like the next week, which is what I was expecting it to be. But Todd Howard, Bethesda, all of those, they did stipulate you will see in-depth gameplay for Redfall and Starfield very soon. So,
yeah,
unless they're happy with it, they just want to polish it up more. I.e., they're happy enough with the mechanics to show that off. But they're just going to put a big stamp underneath that says, like, not representative of final quality. You never know. But I think they'll show, maybe not as much, but I think they'll show enough of it to get a good idea as to what the hell that game is.
yeah, just enough is what I expect.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe later down the year, when it's coming closer to when the game is going to launch early next year,
yeah,
then we'll see a full unveiling of what the game's got to show.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, the secret one that everyone potentially thinks that is close to releasing, or could be close to releasing, Avowed.
Yeah, I always forget about Avowed.
Now, Avowed, if they manage to put that in this year, and if it's ready,
That does then fill
it fills the big gap.
Bethesda void.
It does fill the big gap, because that's a big title.
How many years has Avowed been in development for?
A while. Isn't that in Exile? Is that not in Exile?
Obsidian, isn't it?
Is it Obsidian?
Is it Obsidian?
Somebody in chat might be able to tell me. I might be wrong. Is it in Exile or is it Obsidian?
Avowed is Obsidian Entertainment.
Okay, right. So then it could be Obsidian saving the day and something from in Exile.
Obsidian do fill that Bethesda void. They have made previous games in Bethesda's catalogue, so
yep.
They made what people call the best Fallout game, which is New Vegas. And there's been some rumors that there's a New Vegas type game in the works.
Yep.
Maybe we see that unveiled here, but I don't expect that to come out till maybe next year.
Yep. And Sean saying that a Skyrim from Obsidian, like Outer Worlds, was Fallout. I have to say, in my opinion, and just for me, I enjoyed Outer Worlds more than I have any Fallout game. Loved it. Absolutely.
I still need to complete it.
Loved it. You need to. It's brilliant.
I enjoyed what I played. It's just another one of them games that I put down, and it's like that for most open world games for me. I put it down, I play something else, and I find it hard to get back into.
Yeah.
So I need to get that installed and continue on. I've done it with all the Fallout games in the past as well. As much as I love those games, I get distracted by another game. I find it hard to get back into it.
Yeah. So with the Fallouts, I thought they were just, to me, they were too big. Whereas Outer Worlds didn't feel too big. It was open world, but not open world, if that makes sense. It was more like hub areas, like loads of open areas, but not open world. And that felt like a much better way of doing it than any other way. It didn't feel overwhelming.
Maybe we do see Avowed this year then.
Yeah.
That actually comes out. Maybe November time.
You never know. You never know. I'm still excited for it. And being a content creator like we are, I can't wait to see all the new news, especially like we don't even know what's being talked about at Keeley's showcase. We've got all the news to come from that yet. And
I fully expect the Xbox Kojima game to be shown at Keeley's show first.
Well, you never know, because Kojima's got a couple of projects in the works.
I can't wait to see what he comes up with next, because he's always pushing the envelope.
Yeah. There was something
pushes
different.
The industry further.
Yeah. We shall see.
As much as not a lot of people say Kojima's overrated, he really isn't, because it does drastically change the industry.
Yep. 100% agree.
And at least he's one of very few creators out there that's willing to risk it all to try something new.
Yeah. Exactly. But let's wrap it up. It's been another awesome podcast again today. We've had our thoughts and impressions on Evil Dead so far. We've had our thoughts and impressions on Halo Episode 8. Going into the penultimate
getting the
episode.
sex.
Yeah. And thoughts on Eiyuden Chronicles Rising, which is out now on Game Pass. If you have Xbox Game Pass, install it. 4 gig. What can go wrong? You might enjoy it, you might not, but it doesn't take up much space. Have fun. May as well try it. And of course, our thoughts on the recent news with Starfield Bethesda delaying that game and Redfall until 2023 and the fallout of that and what can be done to rectify it. Hope you've had an awesome time, everyone in chat. Thank you for all the super chats, the new memberships, the upgraded memberships, new people in chat as well. Of course, seeing new people in chat's always awesome. So Gruesome Glenn, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, who else did we have? We had. I'm glad I know who Jack Gabbin Aboot is now. We've had a few people actually today, which is awesome. RSJ fan, of course, coming in, and of course some of our more known chat members. It's been awesome. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Please, as always, if you did enjoy it, please like, share, and subscribe, and put the notification bell on so you know when we go live. And we're dropping some awesome content as much as we possibly can for you guys. So there's always something new to watch. Of course, we'll be back again on Tuesday for our Sea of Tuesdays with the General C, myself, Xbox Mick, and whoever else wants to join in. We'll get a few boats on the go again. We're getting an awesome crew
Hopefully, we
together.
can get the that pulled together this time, because it was a bit of a struggle last time. We were all trying to
me and Mick are going to
individually get a boat, and it weren't
Mick
working.
We're going to get in an hour beforehand on Tuesday this time and keep trying until we get it. If we get it straight away, awesome. Then we can just chill, get things set up, and get ready for everybody to jump on, which is going to be good. Other than that, of course, Sea of Tuesdays. That is 8 o'clock UK time, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard on Tuesday. On Wednesday, of course, the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, 7 p.m. As always, we will be discussing with the full crew the backlash of the Xbox Bethesda delays and more. And of course, also discussing the Dead Space release date, which was giving out as well the other day, which is awesome.
I can't wait for that. I'm excited for that.
Yes. Aside from that, of course, on Thursday, I'll have another Flight Sim video going up there. This time showing off the P51D Mustang, which is another addition to the store, of course. So that obviously Flight Simmers, you can get your hands on some of these awesome community-created planes that go up there. So I'll be able to showcase that off, and you can see what that's all about. Friday, of course, is a day off. Saturday, usually, we showcase either maybe it's a game stream sometimes, maybe it's not, either on Friday or Saturday. And then, of course, back here again on Sunday for the Midweek Mix-Up Weekend Edition. And unfortunately, barely making rent. You've made it to the end of the stream. You will have to catch up afterwards. But thank you for jumping in nonetheless, brother. We'll have to get some gaming in, that's for sure. Play some Halo or something. But yes, if you haven't played Dead Space, they look like they're doing an absolutely awesome job on it. It's probably going to be the time to jump into it now, so I would hold off because it comes out in 2023, January, I do believe. So hold off until then. That'll be worth playing then. They've done some really great improvements to it. Until then, though, Jen, do you want to tell people where they can find you and what you've got coming up?
Yep, you can find me on my Twitch channel, _general_C. Same for my Twitter, YouTube as well. Did just upload me Evil Dead gameplay today. It's no commentary in that. It's just all gameplay of a demon perspective. Probably going to do a same sort of video with the survivors, just to show a bit more of the gameplay off, without any talking over the top of it. I am going to be streaming some more of that in the week. Tomorrow is back to Black Mesa, but that'll be in the evening because I'll get me weekly shopping in tomorrow.
Yes.
I'll be streaming a few times this week, either Hunt Showdown, Evil Dead, and back on Saturday to Resident Evil 0 once I catch up to that point that has been killing me.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my plans, and obviously back here on Sunday.
Awesome stuff.
Unless in the week, if you need me on the main show, like a pop up every now and then.
There's always a possibility. There's always that possibility. You know what my panel, they're very to and fro. You know what they're like.
I'm always there if you need me, man.
Awesome stuff. But yes, thank you again, everybody, for joining us today. Hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend or rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in the world. Of course, thank you once more And I will see you, or we will see you again this week for all of our awesome other shows. Until next time, see you later.
Bye-bye.